Welcome back to Pro Bono Week with Legal Services of North Florida. My name is Colleen Mullen. I'm the Director of Pro Bono and Volunteer Engagement at LSNF. I'd like to thank today's sponsor, the Escambia Santa Rosa County Bar Association. Judge Burgash is here to say a few quick words about pro bono involvement. If you didn't see his presentation on Monday, it was fantastic, and I urge you to go back and watch that video. Judge Bergosh, thanks for coming back.
Good afternoon. I'm Gary Bergosh. I'm a circuit court judge with the First Judicial Circuit of Florida, and I can typically sit in Escambia, Santa Rosa, Okaloosa, or Walton counties. Pro bono work is so important to our communities in just so many ways that are tangible and intangible. We have a noble profession, and I think sometimes attorneys forget that. And we help people draft wills, we help people with injunctions, especially in the domestic areas where there may be violence. We help people with their divorces. We help people in a myriad of ways with civil matters that are maybe not a big case in the amount of dollars, but a big case to that person. And if you're a business person, especially a small business person, you have probably seen your employees when they're, fretting over a problem. It's a legal problem. Maybe it's not big, but to them it is big and it impacts their work. Maybe they're absent, maybe they're not fully there, maybe their productivity slips a little, and then something happens. You learn about a pro bono attorney or an availability of a pro bono service, and you recommend your worker to go see these folks. And then what was something that they could not unravel themselves is taken care of, and it's done for free. These are very impactful because, one, there's safety maybe when the injunctions come for violence, and they can get back to work and be productive, and their mind is now focused on what their mission is, working, rather than, what's going to happen with, their estate if something happens to them, or a contract that's not working out correctly. So if they qualify income-wise, we definitely know that folks that have problems with legal issues suffer from depression, and they just miss work at a greater rate. So pro bono is a great thing in that it helps our communities to be, efficient and to help the goals of justice, which is a cardinal virtue, which we all want to see in our lives, fairness. And as a judge, I want everyone to be treated fairly. But if you do not have an attorney, if you have no access to the court, it's hard for justice to prevail. So those that provide pro bono work and those that work in that industry do a very great service to our community, and it is a great thing. As I've said, being an attorney is a noble profession. And we want to make sure that we can help our communities. And one thing I think I need to point out is, if you love your community, if you love what you do, if you love your fellow man, how do you show that love? And I often say that love is not spelled L-O-V-E, it is spelled T-I-M-E. So if you give time to something, that means your heart's in the right place. And many of us, when we went to law school, we were hoping to make sure that justice was done not only in our daily lives, in the lives of our loved ones, but in the lives of everyone in our community, in our nation, and maybe even in our world. It was big, noble goals. And you know what? These kinds of goals are only met with short-term and long-term goals. And short-term goals and small goals are making sure that you give time to a profession that you love, to the community that you love, to underserved, and maybe folks that have no access to any attorneys and they have no access to justice. And these little steps of your time in areas of your expertise can help our communities, because justice is done, fairness is done, controversies are worked out fairly. And once that happens, society, again, is much more efficient. People can go to work, they can concentrate on what they do. So, and what does it do for the attorney that provides this? Obviously, you need to make a living, but you know what? We all have room and resources to give back. And if you can give back to those that are underserved or represented, or in any way not having access to justice, you can make them feel good about themselves, make them feel good about the justice system, make them feel good about their community. And then when you give, you receive back from them, and then those folks see your example, and then they give back, and then hopefully, society operates the way it should be. Nothing's ever going to be perfect, but I can tell you what, pro bono, when it works, is close to perfect. So I'd like to thank all attorneys in the First Judicial Circuit and in the 14th Judicial Circuit who have provided pro bono services to our community and to our citizens. And in recognition of that, thank you. We wish that, and you have received your challenge coin for your service. And like I've said before, your service shows that you love your community, and you love it by giving time and showing that through your giving of time. So love is spelled T-I-M-E. There's a small token of our appreciation to you in the coin. I wish I could be there personally to shake your hand. In this era of COVID, we have to be careful, but hopefully next year we can do a much more personal event. But here's the takeaway. We, the judges, the lawyers, our community, we appreciate you. More than 50 of you stepped up to do this. Thank you so much for your service. And please accept that coin as a small token of our appreciation that you can look upon and remember what you did.
Our senior attorneys get the privilege of working side by side with many of our volunteer attorneys. In a moment, you will hear from a few of those pro bono attorneys who have and continue to give their time and expertise to LSNF staff and our clients. We honestly cannot say enough. Thank you to all of our pro bono heroes across our service area.
Hi, my name is Bethany Taylor, and I am proud to serve as the senior attorney in our Fort Walton Beach office. LSNF is so grateful to the pro bono attorneys in the First Circuit. Their support of LSNF helps us deliver legal services to more individuals in need. Pro bono attorneys are important to the work we do here at LSNF. Sometimes an attorney may not be able to take on a full case, but they can provide guidance and legal samples to our LSNF team. This saves our team time so that we can deliver more legal services to help our communities.
Hi, I'm Christine Kelly, and I'm the Senior Attorney in Legal Services North Florida's Pensacola office. Legal Services in North Florida is so grateful for all the attorneys who have donated their time and money in Escambia and Santa Rosa counties. Without your help, we could not help all the people who we do.
Hi, I'm Jim Coombs, the Senior Attorney of the Panama City Office of Legal Services in North Florida. I just wanted to take a second to thank all the pro bono attorneys in the 14th District who've taken their time and experience to sit and help people who are underrepresented and low income. Your pro bono work means a lot to us, so thank you. Pro bono services are important at Legal Services North Florida because we have a lot of underrepresented in our district, and any help that you give to the underrepresented helps us do more complex work. So your helping us helps the entire community and vice versa. So again, it's just great from the work you do.
Pro bono service means you care about our communities enough to invest and give back. When one of us is better, we are all better.
Pro bono service is an opportunity to prove to yourself what you're capable of.
Pro bono service is rewarding. It's very rewarding to help a person who can't help themselves. It feels good to know you were the answer to somebody's prayers.
Pro bono service is essential to improving our communities.
Pro bono service is rewarding because you can prove to yourself that it's not just about a job, it's about the work you do.
Pro bono service is educational. A lawyer can take a case he or she knows little about and learn as they go along, all the while helping somebody who couldn't help themselves.
Pro bono service is a chance for you to be creative and think outside the box.
Pro bono service is a way to meet the Florida Bar's aspirational rules of professional conduct. Rule 4-6.1 states that each member of the Florida Bar in good standing, as part of that member's professional responsibility, should render pro bono legal services to the poor and participate to the extent possible in other pro bono service activities that directly relate to the legal needs of the poor.
So what does pro bono mean to me? I would start with the literal translation from Latin. It means for the good of the community or for the public good. So pro bono to me is giving back to your community. And we actually have a judge here in Escambia, First Circuit Judge, Judge Bergosh. His favorite quote to say is that you spell love T-I-M-E. So I think this is reflected in pro bono when lawyers dedicate and give their time back to serving their community. I would say pro bono services have impacted my life because it set me on the path to become an attorney. If there weren't for attorneys and judges who had volunteered their time to be mentors to me while I was in undergrad and throughout law school, you know, I wouldn't have made it to practice in the manner that I have. And it just makes me, I think, a better attorney because of all of the people who have, you know, sewed into me as a professional and as a person. The people who impacted me or really left a lasting impression on me were the partners from my first ever legal internship, Sharon Lopez and Andrea Farney. They are two women lawyers who practice out of Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And I was a 1L at Penn State, and I really just didn't have my bearings at all. And they just truly took a chance on me. And they just welcomed me when I knew like basic research. And I'll never forget my 1L summer working for them was actually the summer of the Obergefell opinion. And, you know, they sat me down, they showed me how to brief a Supreme Court opinion, and we discussed the legal implications and how, you know, that one decision would literally change America. And it was just a really transformative moment for me in my legal trajectory. And I'm just so glad that I can look back on that moment and think about Andrea and Sharon and how they, you know, helped me from, you know, baby attorney or baby law student to practicing attorney. Access to the courts are so important for low-income individuals because it's literally, you know, tied to our constitutional promise of equal justice under the law. And in order for us to live up to that promise and to realize that promise, we have to make sure that your social economic status is not a burden to you receiving justice. So we want everyone, and everyone being no matter where you fall on the spectrum, to be able to, you know, have access to the courts.
So pro bono service has impacted my life by helping broaden my practice overall. As once people find out you're a lawyer, they ask if you handle a certain kind of case. And then they generally follow up with a specific case. And I had that happen. A friend asked if I could help a lady he knew at church who was facing foreclosure at the time. It was her case was different than any that I handled before. And I didn't know much about it. And so I approached Leslie Powell, Boudreaux, who I had just met at the time. And I said, hey, Leslie, you know, I'd love to take this case and I'd love to help this lady, but I don't really know. I don't know where to start. And so I said, you know, could I get a mentor? If I'm willing to help, can you help me get a mentor? And Leslie said, of course, sure. That's the kind of thing that we do. And we'll cover it with malpractice and we'll get you all set up. So it was the best experience. I was able to help this sweet church lady stay in her home. I was able to walk through the stages of how the case would work and set it up and do a lot of learning on my own, which has benefited my practice to this day. And I take cases like that now. I'm able to help more people. And I got to work with cool people at Legal Services. So overall, it was a wonderful experience. So access to justice is one of the foundations of our entire legal system. Brian Stevenson is a lawyer in Montgomery, Alabama, and an advocate. And he says in his book, Just Mercy, he says the opposite of poverty isn't wealth, it's justice. And it's so meaningful in this day and age. You know, as an attorney, there's nothing more heartbreaking than waiting for your case to be called,
standing outside a courtroom and seeing somebody who was pro se without a lawyer leave a courtroom and not understand what just happened, and having not really gotten a chance to present their case. And they've got a box full of papers and they thought they were going to get to talk to the judge, and it turns out it's a hearing on a motion for summary judgment, or it just wasn't that day, or the case got continued or something, and they don't really know what happened, and they were so prepared, but they just didn't know the right legal lingo. They didn't know what to expect. And now they're jaded and they're hurt and frustrated, and a lot of times they have a case to present. They just don't know the way to go about it. Carrie Howard is a public defender out of West Palm Beach, and she always says, the law can be a speeding bullet train, and your job as an advocate is really to slow it down and ensure everybody gets due process, that everybody understands what's happening, and that they get a chance to present their case and have their day in court. And so a lot of what we do in working in civil legal aid is just trying to ensure that people understand what's going on. They're stressed out. They don't know how the process works. And so, as an attorney thinking you're going to provide access to justice, sometimes you think, okay, I'm going to be expected to file a lawsuit, demand a jury trial, and go in guns blazing like Aaron Brockovich kind of thing. But sometimes the things you need to do in order to help somebody access the courts is, go to a justice on the block clinic and help a pro se family law client fill out some forms. Tell them what's a petitioner, who's a respondent, what is the service of process. Like, how do you take a summons and get it to the sheriff? And why do you have to do that? Why is that necessary? Explaining what a summons is all about. Explaining child support guidelines. If that's part of what you're able to do. A lot of times access to justice is working with somebody to teach them how to use Zoom so they can participate in a hearing with the judge and that they can actually present their case. So it's sometimes as an attorney, you're called on just to explain what a person can expect next and what the legal lingo means and how they can access their day in court. At this stage in my career, pro bono service is an opportunity for me to volunteer in my community in an extra meaningful way. There are lots of charitable organizations around town, and I'm a member of a few of those. And I know that everybody in the bar and everybody watching is probably also really involved in their communities. As a licensed attorney, you can give back in ways that others just can't. So I can't go like Doctors Without Borders. I can't travel overseas and heal people. I can't contribute in those kind of ways, but I can help someone expunge their criminal record so they can get a job. I can look at somebody's eviction summons and let them know if they have a defense and if there's something that might help them stay in their house longer. I can help somebody dissolve a writ of garnishment against their wages so they can keep the income that they should be entitled to under Florida statutes, and they can keep providing for their family, and other social service providers don't have to get involved and do that for us. Pro bono service is magical in that way. You are equipped with with the knowledge to help people in a tremendous way. And other people in our community can't do it. So we have to step up. It's part of the professionalism of being a lawyer. And it's something that we're uniquely gifted the ability to do by virtue of having a law license.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for being part of this pro bono celebration. My name is Garret Laborde, and I'm the president of the Escambia Santa Rosa Bar Association for 2021 through 2022. When I was asked to reflect on the importance of pro bono personally and also to the profession and our communities, it didn't take me very long to think about the ways that I have benefited from rendering pro bono services and also some of the impacts that I look back on and I believe I've had in the case and in the lives of those who needed our help and my help at various times in my career. In terms of what pro bono means to me, I'd like to sort of give a quick little anecdote story. I recall when I was a fairly young associate, probably in 2005 or so, maybe 2006, I learned about a young, I think 6-month-old baby who had been tissue typed and was being prepared for a heart transplant in Texas Children's Hospital in Houston. I was a young litigator working 12, 14 hours a day in Louisiana. And when I found out that the baby was likely going to die because the Louisiana Medicaid would not pay for the surgery, given that it was just a few miles into another state, I was called into action, and I don't know why, but I volunteered my services to be a patient advocate and an insurance advocate on behalf of the family. And after many demand letters and begging and pleading, I got a call from the director of Medicaid thanking me for my persistence and announcing that the Department of Medicaid would be paying for the 6-month-old baby's heart transplant. And as far as I know, that baby could be running an industry somewhere, could be playing sports somewhere. I don't know, might even be a lawyer. But it was a profound effect of my life within the first couple of years of my practice. And it was probably one of the most rewarding pro bono experiences I have ever had. What does it mean to our profession? Well, using the ABA as an inspiration, I find that one of the other benefits, or some of the other benefits to you, would be an increase with client interaction. If you're a young or mid-career attorney and you don't get a lot of hands-on interaction with clients, maybe it's because they are institutional and you never get to see them and you're tired of writing report letters and you'd rather have a little bit of one-on-one human interaction, well, pro bono certainly gives you that opportunity. If you are seeking lead counsel experience, certainly when you handle a pro bono case, you're not likely to have to be 3 or 4 chairs down from the lead counsel. You're probably it. And there's immeasurable experience that comes from that opportunity. And then probably the biggest benefit is that you become a more well-rounded lawyer, because it's oftentimes that you're asked to handle a pro bono case that can broaden your substantive experience, or certainly broaden the practical skills that you might not have been able to hone because you have to be more creative in seeking and finding resolutions. So I think those are really important professional skills that can come out of pro bono. Pro bono is consistent with the Escambia Santa Rosa Bar Association's mission because we expressly state that it is our job to assist in the service of the profession and of the community. And I can think of no better way than to encourage our lawyers to render their talents, skills, and what I consider privilege of practicing law to those who can least afford it, and when we can find time in our day to do so. I encourage each of you to continue your pro bono service, and I join the others here today in applauding you and all of your efforts throughout this past year, and thank you very much for your dedication of time, because as Judge Burgash likes to say, we spell love T-I-M-E, and no better way for you to give of yourself than through time. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Hi, I hope you have enjoyed these days recognizing pro bono service in the Florida Panhandle. Again, my name is Leslie Powell Boudreaux, and I'm the Executive Director of Legal Services of North Florida. We are so grateful that you have joined us this week for the annual Pro Bono Celebration Week 2021. We've been so honored to host so many wonderful leaders and volunteers in sharing their stories with you, including Supreme Court Justice Jorge Lavarga, the First Judicial Circuit Judge Gary Burgash, and First Judicial Circuit Magistrate Wanda Morgan, and so many others who've served the community, who recognize the importance of service and recognize that we are all part of a community and we must support each other in order for any of us to have justice. We've also had the opportunity to go into the community this week to thank pro bono attorneys in the 1st and 14th circuits in person, with gifts and recognition for the time and expertise and energy that they've given in service to their communities. We hope you will continue following along this week and on our social media platforms so that you can see many of these generous faces that have helped the clients served throughout LSNF and so many others. These presentations will continue to be available on Facebook and YouTube for any of you who would like to rewatch or share these videos at a later time. Thank you again so much for joining us. Thank you for those who have served, and thank you for the support everyone else has given to that service. Have a great day.
Hi, this is Brian Stewart, Director of Philanthropy here at Legal Services of North Florida. We're glad you could join us today. Now, we couldn't provide the services we do without the support of the community and without the support of you. Now, whether through volunteer hours, partnerships, donations, or advocacy, your ongoing and relenting passion for access to justice is the fire that fuels LSNF. Now, this week of events is supported by several of those wonderful partnerships, and I want to make sure everybody knows who they are. So first, I'd like to thank the Walton County Bar Association for their sponsorship, which helped LSNF provide special gifts for volunteers across the 1st and 14th Judicial Circuits. I'd also like to say a thank you to our live stream sponsors. Of course, you're watching today. They've generously supported this 4-day virtual series during Pro Bono Celebration Week. Thank you to Sarah S. Walton and Philip A. Bates, PA. That's our Monday live stream sponsor during the celebration week. Next, now they're always here for us, and we appreciate Phipps Reporting, who are our Tuesday sponsors. Now on Wednesday, our supporter of Pro Bono Celebration Week is Pravat Law. Thank you so much for your generosity and support. And finally, a huge thank you to all of our partners at the Escambia Santa Rosa Bar Association for their sponsorship, of course, for the Thursday live stream, but also for their ongoing advocacy and support of the work that we do in the community. So thank you to everyone who's given their time and donations to help make this year's Pro Bono celebration a huge success. Thanks for joining us.